Sunday morning started with Dr. Peaham, who is a scientist and I believe also a professor at the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna. And he was talking and showing a lot about lameness analysis, and he showed some figures with us that kind of really shocked me. They were measuring the pressure and the force the rider's weight is putting onto the horse's back. So if you're riding at the walk, your pressure and force equals your own body's weight. If you're riding at the trot, your, to your horse, it feels like twice the pressure and force on its back than in the walk. And in the lope or canter, your horse even feels 3 times the pressure and force on its back. And they were kind of capturing that data with an experienced rider and some technical stuff like computerized pressure saddle pads. And they measured also an inexperienced rider and found out that they somehow put 6 times the pressure and weight onto the horse's back in the lope than in the walk. So, I mean, those are really high numbers, and we should think about them, especially if we're, like starting young horses or using young horses in riding schools. So, even tiny little persons like me can put a lot of pressure on horses' backs. So that was kind of shocking, but really, really interesting and really, really valuable.
And so the model has to recalculate the
On Sunday, we also listened to Eckhard Meines, the famous kinetics and movement instructor, and he was doing exercises with those riders. Right now is Harald Siegel on the ground doing exercises to loosen up in the shoulder gird, and I'd say simply listen to the audience reaction on his improvement.
Now he tries it in the old position again, and you see how much the arm is higher.
I don't want to say that Eckhart Meiner's lectures were my favorite, but they produced the most wow moments for me. And like the very first exercise he did with the audience was that he asked us to have our legs in a 90-degree angle, like have your lower legs in a 90-degree angle to your thighs, your upper legs, and your upper body straight, and then bring your arms up like this and try to stand up without leaning forward, at least without leaning forward as much as possible, like this. It's not that easy. So after that, he simply asked us to roll our eyes in circling motions clockwise 10 times and counterclockwise 10 times. And then he asked us to get up like this again. So I ask you to do this exercise, to pause the video and do this exercise, and you'll be really surprised about the outcome. Like, roll your eyes 10 times clockwise, 10 times counterclockwise, and then get up like this again. So aren't you totally surprised how easy it suddenly becomes to get up like this if you rolled your eyes before? I thought it was amazing. I think this is going to be my next new favorite trick for parties. And the whole concept behind this is that our eyes lead our movements. So this pretty much underlines what the centered riding people are talking about when they're talking about soft eyes, not focusing too hard on one point. Because if you do that, this decreases the movement in your body and makes you kind of stiff. And another thing that all of the lecturers were talking about was the happy, smiley face, like the centered riding people, Susan Harris and Peggy Brown were talking about it. The dressage trainer Arthur Cottis was talking about it, and also Eckhart Meiners. Because frowning, and I know my forehead looks really weird when I frown, makes the base of our pelvis tighten up. And clenching your teeth and getting, restricted and tightening your jaw tightens your whole body. So the next time you find yourself sitting like this on the horse, you're no fun at all for your horse to carry around. And simply remind yourself, you're happy, you're having fun, it's so great that you're having the time and the possibilities to ride to avoid those things. It's really horrible. It's going to, make your whole ride suck, basically. And more thing that I wanted to talk about that Eckhart was teaching, the importance of having your upper body straight, because every inch behind, like with your upper body coming behind the vertical, blocks your last lumbar vertebra to your sacrum, like the connection between your last lumbar vertebra to your sacrum. And I see many people, especially, you know, when going down and run down before a sliding stop, you know, they lean far, far back. And so many riders already have issues with their lower back. And this is one of those things that can make it even worse. Because if the horse hits the ground a little hard and you're too far backwards, this is going to, you know, make a hole in your lower back, especially between the last vertebra and the sacrum. Eckhart Meiners has written books, he did DVDs, he developed that Bellino seat, the Bellino chair, which trains you to increase the motion of your pelvis. And I mean, I don't own any of those things yet, but I'm sure going to put them onto my Christmas wish list and hopefully have some Eckhart Meiners books under my Christmas tree this year. And I mean, you can tell I'm obviously pretty amazed and blown away by his content. He really did a great job. But who else did a great job were the riders, especially that Eckhart Meiners used for his demonstrations. I mean, we had like the top-notch riders, the top-notch eventer, and a really awesome dressage rider of Austria, Peter Moser, which stood really out because he was so eager to learn and, you know, ask for more and more exercises. And I mean, they were kind of poor somehow because they had to get off the horse, do some exercises, then get back on the horse, give some feedback, get off the horse, get a painful massage by Eckhart Meiners, get back on the horse, give some feedback, get off the horse. You get the idea. So it wasn't the easiest job on the planet that day. And they were just, I mean, they wanted to be there, they wanted to learn. And even I could tell as a non-dressage rider, but even I could tell how much the horse improved and how much the rider improved after doing those exercises. And I think, I mean, especially Peter, he was a great role model to all of us. How we never ever should even think about being done with learning. There's always much more to learn. And a sad thing was that there weren't a lot of Western riders at the symposium as far as I could tell. A lot of dressage riders and riding teachers. And I think especially in the Western riding scene, we need a little more of education like this. Because maybe it's because the whole Western riding culture isn't as old as, especially like the dressage riding. And you know, there's not a lot of sensitivity and thought about developing a good and balanced seat. And I think we all need this a little more. I know I keep repeating myself, but the more we work on ourselves, the better our horses will get. And I think it's just the most unfair thing in the world to expect our horses to compensate for our own weaknesses. And we would have more fun, and it would be so much easier and so much more enjoyable for our horses if we work on ourselves a little more. So I hope you liked those sequences and quotes just as much as I did, and I hope I served you a little bit with this video. If you want to learn more about this whole centered riding idea, simply go to www.centeredriding.org and you'll learn about clinics, you'll learn about teachers and instructors and the whole concept and idea. So I hope you had fun, I hope you learned a little bit, and until we see each other next time, enjoy your ride.